are tropes for complete imitation. In other words, it's a turn of phrase for complete imitation. So, you can see, no offense to any brothers and sisters from Saudi Arabia, but I mean, it's just amazing that, we have in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula now, I mean, that could be a scene from L.A. or, and the golden arches in the background. My God, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, that wasn't intentional. But I mean, this is, McDonald's. I mean, what's McDonald's doing in Arabia? What's it doing in Mecca? Did you know the golden arches, that is the first thing you see as you're coming into the city? My older brother's not even a Muslim. He told me he almost cried the first time he saw it. He just said, don't they know the city's sacred? Bolivia is the first country where all the McDonald's had to close down just recently, finally, after years. Because McDonald's will run at losses because they know that it's hard to get the adult generation, but the kids, they have Ronald McDonald, they have toys and everything like that. Although Ronald McDonald gives me the creeps. I mean, if I was a kid, I'd just run the other way. So Bolivia, literally, they had to shut them all down. Hooray for Bolivia. I'm serious. Yeah, bravo. Bravo. Yeah. And you know what they said, the reason? Somebody went down there to find out. He interviewed all these. They said, food is meant to be prepared with love and shared with family, and we don't want to eat that kind of food. It tastes horrible. I mean, anybody who eats real food cannot eat McDonald's. The only way you can eat McDonald's is because you've been eating processed food all your life. Once you start eating real food, you will throw up if you try to eat something from McDonald's. And I'm not exaggerating, really. I'm not making that up. So yes, I am anti-McDonald's. I'm anti-Pepsi. I'm anti-Coca-Cola. I'm anti-anything that you recognize the name. I'm troubled by it. Right? I like things that are like home, I mean, we need to be cultivating. We used to have victory gardens during World War II where people were told to grow gardens in their houses. A lot of South Asian community, the grandmas will grow gardens in the backyards because that's what they do in India and Pakistan and things. Right? They grow gardens and have vegetables. They eat their own tomatoes and things. And now you've got Monsanto and all these companies that are changing the actual structures of these seeds. And then this was obviously the one that we mentioned in the beginning with the hadith of Jibreel, that you will see the Amma will talidu rabbataha, she'll give birth to her mistress. The ulama differ on what that means. Some of them mean, and this did occur during certain periods of Islam, where a concubine would be a consort of one of the rulers, and then the child that came from it would actually become a ruler. That did happen. Some of them say that's the meaning. Others say that it means that parents will be so mistreated that their children will actually treat them as if they're slaves, ordering them about. And we certainly can see that. And then also that you'll see the barefoot, hufat al-urat, ri'a al-shah, right? The barefoot, destitute herders of goats vying with one another by building increasingly taller buildings. La ilaha illallah. Sadaqa Rasulullah. In another narration, he was asked, who are these hungry, destitute people? And he said, Al-Arab. They're the Arabs. So the Prophet specifically said that the Arabs on the Arabian Peninsula are going to be vying in building taller and taller buildings. And now, after they built this building, then they announced in Saudi Arabia, we're going to do the mile high, even outdo that one. And then Qatar said, no, we're going to build the tallest one. And no, it's in Malaysia. See, Malaysia got outdone by... So everybody it used to be American Empire State Building was like this Lego building compared to these things. And then you see it's just getting higher and higher. You know, Oman, the Sultanate of Oman, it's illegal to build over like 5 stories. Because man tawada'a lillah rafa'ahu Allah. If you stay humble, Allah will elevate you. And it's a haqq ala Allah. ما ارتفع شيء في الدنيا إلا أن يضعها حق على الله. It's a right of God that nothing will get too high in this world except Allah will abase it. So it's just better to stay low, stay humble, right? And then obviously the Burj al-Sa'a in Mecca, and we'll get to a hadith about that. And then Jabal Umar, you see that where see all that there? There used to be a mountain there. And the Prophet ﷺ said, لا تقوم الساعة حتى تزول الجبال عن أماكنها. The end of time won't come until you see mountains removed from their places. And these are sacred mountains. You're not supposed to cut a tree in Mecca. And yet mountains now are removed with impunity. I mean, for me, it's one of the most troubling things. You go to Mecca, I mean, it's really sad to see that. Here's the plans, my friends. That's the plan for Mecca. To get rid of the Ottoman, the last remnants of the Ottoman. There's no history. History's gone. All the mountains are going to be gone. It's going to be complete flat. It's just amazing. I mean, these are sacred mountains, but... Well, I think partly one, there's no sense of the sacred amongst modern Muslims. Dr. Nasser was talking about this if you were at the conference. Muslims have lost a sense of sanctity, that the creation actually has a sanctity, that mountains have a sanctity. You can't just go and remove a mountain, right? Allah says, even if their plots remove mountains, it's a negative thing to remove mountains. I mean, mountains are autad. They're pillars for the earth. But I don't know. There's a Muslims don't really appreciate history anymore for some reason. I don't fully get it. Well, we have people in California that if you try to cut down a 1,000-year-old redwood tree, they literally live in it for 2 years to make sure that you can't. Right? Julia Butterfly, she lived in it. You can Google her. She lived in a redwood tree for almost 2 years, so they wouldn't cut it down. So I don't know. It's only if Muslims, have some sense of, I mean, I've spoken to them. I mean, I've spoken to the times that I've had access to the rulers there. I've always tried to say that, things need to be preserved. And it's like I would even argue not for tabarruk, but just for history. Even if you just cut them off, don't let people visit them, but don't just remove them. I mean, we had wells that were the Prophet drank from, that all of the through the history of Islam they were preserved. So the bid'ah, Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayy said the bid'ah is to remove them. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, when he became caliph, he preserved all of the places where the Prophet ﷺ prayed. When he was governor of Medina, he went everywhere. Ibn Umar went to every single place and prayed 2 rakats where the Prophet prayed. That's the proof that the ulama use for that you can go to places where the Prophet prayed and pray 2 rakats. There's nothing wrong with that. This idea somehow that it's a bid'ah because it's not mansus, it's not wajib, but tatabbu' al-Rasul ﷺ is a good thing. I mean, even Ibn Umar, he used to go on his journey, he would, in Medina, there was a place where he'd move his camel. And somebody asked him, I always see you doing that. He said, I saw the Prophet ﷺ do it. And he said, there used to be a rock there. He said, I don't care. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because he did it. Whether there's a rock there or not anymore, the fact that he did it, I want to do it. And that's a school of love. You don't care if the beloved did it. She dyed her hair purple. I'm going to dye my hair purple.